Okay, hello everyone, and many of you may not know this, but on Monday, when this video goes out, there will be the death rework, which is going to be awesome, but also there's going to be another event as well at the same time. It's called Raptors Rampage, and they haven't written a news post about it whatsoever. It was only mentioned on a stream a couple of weeks ago, but basically, the Raptor is going to be in War's Retreat, and if you talk to him, he will make it so that your next boss kill has 3 rolls on the rare loot from said boss. So we're gonna go over what kind of bosses you should maybe think about doing, and yeah, how best to use the how to use the buff, I guess. So first of all, it's not entirely clear exactly how it's going to work. They weren't as descriptive as you'd perhaps like, but the best that we know is you get 3 rolls on the rare drops from the boss, which I guess if we look at Kerapac, I guess that means that each individual loot pile will be 3 goes at the Staff of Armador pieces, which essentially means in a solo you could have 9 chances at getting a staff piece, and technically if you're insanely lucky, you could potentially even get 9 staff pieces in one kill, which obviously is statistically incredibly improbable, but you know. But yeah, so basically, what should you use this on? Well, if you are an Ironman especially, and you wanna, you wanna get some good gear, some rare drops, like a little bit easier potentially, at least have a good chance of getting some rare drops. Kerapac can definitely be an option, something to think about. The only downside of this is that the staff pieces aren't crazily rare. They are rare, don't get me wrong, but yeah, they may not be as desirable as some other items, but it really depends on your depends on your goals. So Kerapac, definitely one that you can use that buff on. Nothing to be ashamed about there. Definitely a good plan if you need a Fracture Staff Armador or want to make a good bit of money. Next up, the thing that I'm going to do actually, depending on how it works, because as we said, we don't exactly know how it's going to work, but I'm hoping that Crow is going to be an incredibly good place to use it, because if you get 12 drops per kill, like maybe those drops will be like tripled or something, at least in terms of rare drops, because it doesn't double commons or pets or anything. It only gives you extra chances at getting the rare drops. So there's definitely a good chance that Crow could be a very good use of the buff as well. Just like a single kill every day with the buff could be very interesting, because the way that these drops work here is that they're all kind of like individually like 1 in 5,000, which then you get 12 drop piles per kill, which means, technically they're like 1 in like 600 per specific, I guess, or something like that. But what if like each of them are now 3 in 5,000 and you still get 12 drops? So it could be in for some more common Crow drops, but that's what I'm going to use it on, to try and grab myself that helm. That's the idea anyway. So yeah, it might be good to make some money as well. Like you get a top or some legs or something, make some bank on Mainscape. It's up to you. But the way that I'm looking at it is I'm kind of trying to speed up the process of bosses that I don't want to do, which I don't want to do Crow, but I really do need that helm on my Ironman here, so I'm gonna test my luck. Okay, and then something else that people are very much eyeing up with this event is Zuck. So specifically hard mode Zuck, because the chance of getting like any drop from hard mode Zuck is like 1 in 15, which basically means if you have 3 rolls at 1 in 15, like you're gonna probably be getting some some drops. Definitely a good chance of those. That goes down to like a 1 in 3, I guess. Sorry, 1 in 5. So yeah, 1 in 5 chance of getting a drop from Zuck with the triple buff active. So definitely a good place to use it here, because these swords not so easy to come by. Same with the magma and the full book. So yeah, definitely a very like probably the most consistent way to use this buff is probably to use it on Zuck there. So definitely something to think about if you want to. Other ideas could be doing small team AOD. Ideally, 4-man or smaller, because the smaller your team size, the sort of more likely you are to get a drop. It's a bit complicated, but if you're trying to do like a duo AOD or something, if you're a bit of a gamer, you could have a very good chance of getting a weapon or a codex or anything here. So something to think about. But yeah, I don't know. Personally, I'm not gonna be using it here. But if you're into like 4-man AOD or smaller, it could very well be a good place to use your buff. Definitely wouldn't use this at 7-man though. I don't think that's going to be worth it at all, because the chances of getting a drop there are just a little bit too unlikely. What else do we have? So it's not going to work on stuff like Talos or Archglacial, because their drops are seeded, and it just won't work with that. That's the only thing it won't work with. Anything else, it'll work. So technically, if you're an Ironman or a log hunter looking for like a greater barge or something, you could always use it here. I feel like it's not the best use. I feel like other bosses are better, but definitely an option if you're missing a little bargy-wargy. So you could go for that. Then I think there's one last thing that I was going to mention is Zamorak. So assuming this works how you think it would, and you get 3 rolls on the rare drop table, then what could be a really good thing to do is try and get your bad luck mitigation like really, really high, and then do like the highest enraged kill you can. Ideally a 2k enraged kill, but if not, something lower is fine as well. But definitely get your bad luck mitigation up before you try and go for the triple roll. So just try and keep track of when you got your last drop, get your 10 kills dry, and then do a few more kills, and then hopefully activate your buff, and then hopefully you'll get a hopefully you get some sparkles, and maybe we'll even see people with like triple bow pieces. I don't know. But we will have to see. But yeah, it could definitely be an interesting place to be. Obviously, triple bow pieces very unlikely, but maybe we'll see some people get some like double jobs, like like both books, or like a vestment and a book or something. We'll have to see. Yeah, that's probably about it. I don't think there are any other bosses in particular that are incredibly good for this buff, so I think those would be like the top ones to do. Oh, apart from Ambassador, actually, Ambassador could be a good shout as well, because 1 in 55 for a solo drop, that will go to 3 in 55. Well, you'll get 3 individual 1 in 55 rolls, but still, so that could very well be a good place to be as well if you want your Eldritch, because there are a lot of people that go dry. A lot of people that go dry at Ambi, so that might help you not be one of them, I suppose. But yeah, apart from that, that should be all of the main bosses. Potentially Raksha could be a shout as well. But I don't know, it's kind of up to you on that one. Definitely not the most desirable, I would say, for this buff, but definitely not a bad one. So you could give it a go. But yeah, I think anything else is probably not worth using the buff on. But yeah, I'm hoping Jagex will do a more detailed news post on how this works on Monday. But I guess we'll have to see. But I really do hope for me it works on Crow, because I would love to be able to ideally get that helm, but we'll have to see what happens. But yeah, hopefully that's a good little rundown of what is going on. And I will see you soon. And don't forget, we will be live shortly after the death cost update comes out with some, just like checking it out. So do come and say hi on Twitch. The link is in the description. So I hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you soon.